Welcome back to the Deep Dive, listeners. We like to get into the nitty-gritty here. So today, we're going way back. Going to look at an intriguing little story about, well, basically about getting money back.
You got it. It's all there in this short excerpt. It's called New Note.
Hmm.
What we want to do today is break this whole thing down and figure out, like, what makes this story so interesting and relevant to us.
Sounds good. So who are the players in this story? What are we talking about here?
Okay, so we've got Tobiah. He needs some help, and he turns to, well, he calls him Brother Isaiah. But we find out later this is actually Raphael. And then there's Gabal, who's got the money, and, of course, Tobiah's father, Tobit, who's kind of the reason this is all happening.
Okay, so there's this sense of urgency right from the get-go. Tobiah needs this money, and he needs it now. What's the backstory there?
Yeah, so Tobiah has to travel to Rages to get this money from Gabal. And he's got this bond, this written document, like an IOU, to prove that Gabal owes him. But he's really worried about his father, Tobit. He's like counting the days till Tobiah gets back, and Tobiah just doesn't want to make his dad worry any more than he has to.
Yeah, I can understand that. So what's the journey like? I mean, was this a quick trip?
Oh, no, not at all. This was a big undertaking. He had 4 servants with him and 2 camels to make the journey. And on top of that, the reason he needs the money is for his wedding celebration.
Wow.
So, yeah, pretty important.
So you have a wedding, you have a worried father, you have camels. What happens when Raphael finally gets to Rages and shows Gabal this bond?
Well, he tells Gabal, look, Tobiah's married now. He wants you to come to the wedding. And Gabal, he doesn't even hesitate. He gets up, counts out the money, bags and all sealed up, and helps load them right onto the camels. Just like that.
Wow, just total trust there. Amazing.
It really is.
So they get the money. What happens next?
Bright and early the next morning,
Hmm.
they head back. They have to get back for this wedding. And when they arrive, Tobiah's already there. He's at the table celebrating.
And I bet that reunion with Gabal is pretty emotional.
Oh, yeah. So Tobiah welcomes him. And Gabal, I mean, he's just so moved that he starts to cry. He blesses Tobiah and says that he can see that he's a good and noble man, just like his father. And then he goes on to bless Tobiah's wife and her parents as well.
That's beautiful. There's that one line in this story that always gets me where Gabal sees Tobiah for the first time. It's so powerful.
Absolutely. He says, "Blessed be God, because I have seen the very image of my cousin Tobit." And it's not just, that they look alike. It's that Tobiah really embodies his father's goodness. It's quite a compliment.
Yeah, I think you're right. So if we had to sum this all up, what's the takeaway here? What can we learn from this little historical story?
Well, to me, it really shows how important trust was back then and the huge responsibility that came with holding someone else's money. Gabal, he just gave it back without a second thought because he trusted Tobit and his family. And it was all tied in with his big life event, wedding.
Hmm.
Just fascinating how personal and financial obligations were all mixed up together.
That is interesting. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Back then, your word was everything. So to our listeners out there, think about this. How do you think these kinds of stories helped solidify the value of integrity and family ties? I mean, imagine a world where your reputation was directly linked to your finances. What does that say about how people lived and did business back then? It really gives you something to chew on, doesn't it? Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
Thanks for having me.